Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and today we're going to attempt to do a game discussion. And what I mean by attempt is, if you can't hear by my voice, I have been laid up for the last 5 days with some kind of upper bronchial disaster. I don't know what happened. Friday night I was recording an episode of another gaming podcast with Steven, and then just throughout the night my voice just kept getting worse and worse and worse, culminating in the fact that as soon as we got done, about 10 minutes later, I could not talk at all. And I've been having just, it feels like I'm swallowing nails and glass, hacking up everything under the sun. And it's only recently sort of let go of its grip on me. So I'm going to attempt to do a game discussion today because I finished a game. That's one of the nice things about being laid up for 5 days being sick, is that you just have nothing to do other than play a game. And that game that I did beat is Ys 4, Dawn of Ys for the PC Engine Duo. And I made a video on this a little while ago where I discussed the patch that just came out. There was a patch that not only translated the text, but also translated the spoken dialogue in the game. And you apply that patch to an ISO of the game, burn it to a disk, and the PC Engine cannot tell the difference whatsoever. And unfortunately, this has sort of made me go, I can download some of these really expensive PC Engine games and play them that way. So I'm going to be downloading Rondo of Blood, which I know I have it on my Wii, I have it on my PSP, but I want to play it on the original console and stuff like that. So it's just a way of saving some money. But anyway, for this specific release, I did download and burn the ROM, and I tell you what, except for one part of the game where the dialogue sort of like scrambled, it worked perfectly. And the part that was scrambled up, and I was able to watch a video on YouTube of it, so I knew what was going on during that cutscene. But yeah, it's a great patch, and I'd advise anybody out there who wants to play Ys 4, definitely go out and download a ROM and download the patches. You can play it on the emulators. You can burn it and play it on if you have a Turbo CD or an American Turbo Duo, it'll play on that. It'll play on the Japanese ones. The CD part of the PC Engine family is not region locked. It's just the HuCard slot. So you can play all these great games that you never got, and you don't have to have two systems. As long as you're just playing the CD-ROM games. But let's go ahead and get into it, and let's talk about Ys 4. This is a game that has haunted me, especially now, because I saw RPG Swagman's video on Ys Celceta for the Vita, and I'm incredibly jealous of that. But I get to play my own version of Celceta, and that's where this game takes place. The storyline is 2 years after Ys Book 1 and 2. This is a prequel to Ys 3. So I guess the correct term is an inter-equal. I don't know how you say that, but takes place between Ys Books 1 and 2 and Ys 3. Dogi and Adol just got back from 2 years of adventuring, so I don't really know what happened between those 2 years of Ys Book 1 and 2 and Ys 4. But they come back to the same town that they were in Ys Book 1 and 2, and just kind of tool around town, visit people they haven't seen in a while. And then all of a sudden, there comes this, this sort of report that the realm of Celceta is in danger. And of course, the only person that can save him is Adol Christian, that wonderful adventurer. So he sets out from Mysteria to go to Celceta and sort of deal with the problems they're in. And Celceta is a very forested area, hence why the Vita game is called Foliage Ocean of Celceta. I prefer how it was sort of originally translated as Celceta Sea of Trees when people didn't have that official translation. But he sets off and goes over there, and of course kicks ass all over the land. And the storyline is actually a lot more involved than both Ys 1 and 2 and 3. Maybe not so much 3, because I haven't played the TurboGrafx version of 3, but I know for a fact that it's more involved in the Ys Book 1 and 2. A lot more cutscenes, a lot more characters, a lot more dialogue. So really, if we did not have this patch for this game, you'd be missing out a lot of storyline stuff, and you have to go through a lot of hoops to sort of, play this game. So it really is a godsend that we have the patch now to play this game. But like I said, yes, the storyline is it's very good for an old school game like this. I was really, wanting to see what happens next. I want to see, it really dives into more of the history of Ys and sort of how, it's weird kind of how all these different places are really, they tie back a lot to Ys in the first game. You're going to go into Darm Tower again in this one. I mean, there's a lot of connections to the first game. I'm really excited to eventually get Celceta for the Vita, so I can play this and sort of see the difference in the storyline, because I was looking at the character roster on the website, and a lot of the same characters are in this game as is in Celceta. They look a little bit different, but that's okay. And there's a lot of new characters in Celceta as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see the differences when if this finally comes out. I should say, if Celceta finally comes out for the Vita, then I'll of course pick up a Vita. Unless I can get away with playing on my PS3. I don't know how that cross-platform thing works exactly. But very good for an old school storyline. Definitely better than a lot of the storylines of its time. This was a 1993 game. So you think about sort of the RPGs you were playing in 1993. I think for me it was like Dragon Warrior 3 and stuff like that. Because I might have just got my Super Nintendo then. So I might have been playing like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. But compare this to that, and it's no comparison. I mean, just with those the visuals and with the cutscenes and the dialogue, you really couldn't beat these TurboGrafx RPGs back in the day. The gameplay is a return to the roots of Ys Book 1 and 2 after the sort of supposed black sheep of Ys 3. I actually really love Ys 3. I think it's a great game. But there is a certain appeal of the old standard top-down view and the run and bump gameplay, which a lot of people don't like. But I think it's one of those things that makes the game characteristically Ys. And it's something that unfortunately, I mean, once we get to the 3D, games like on the PSP and things like that, and like Ark and Pishdom, we have to lose that in favor of, a button press. But there's something about the run and bump of Ys Book 1 and 2 and Ys 4 that I really like. I mean, sometimes it can screw you, like a monster can get behind you and trap you against something and just wipe out your health like that. But for the most part, it really requires you to kind of be almost more active in combat than it would be if you had a button to press. Because I feel like sometimes when I'm pressing a button, I can just kind of zombie out and just hit, the X button, and the sword swipes will just, do the work for me. Whereas in this, you kind of have to strategically place Adol in a way that what you want to do. Let me see if I have two things here. Yeah, I got a couple things. What you want to do, say this is an enemy, and say this is Adol. You don't want to hit them head on. You want to hit them kind of at an angle, So you don't want, if you hit them head on, the monster's dealing damage to Adol. But if you hit them, like say, here's Adol's head and here's his feet. If you hit them like this, you're going to deal damage to the monster. So it requires you to kind of be more active in planning how do you strike these monsters. And I really like that gameplay aspect. It brings back the magic from Ys 2. Sorry about that, guys. It was building up in there. I was really fighting it. Brings back the magic from Ys Book 1 and 2. So you have all the same spells like fire. You have a blizzard spell that freezes an enemy, and then you can deal one hit and it's dead. Items are brought back. Equipment's brought back. It's basically handled the same way as all the other Ys games have been handled up to this point. There is one item you want to make sure you get, though, and that's the Samson shoes. And what they do is they slow Adol down to basically a crawl. His speed is just, it's so slow. It's like he's taking a step, stopping, taking a step, stopping. But what it does, it allows you to kill every monster with one hit. This is a godsend for leveling up Adol, because a lot of times these high-level monsters are able to deal out some massive damage to you if they hit you. So if you have this equipped, the monsters never really get a chance to hit you, and it really allows you, especially later parts. Come here, Duncan. Come here. Especially allows you later parts of the game to really level up really easily, and you need to have these levels. Like the difference between a level 23 character and a level 24 character when fighting a boss is almost astronomical. I mean, I was having such a hell of a time with one of the bosses, and I just went back and gained a level, and went back and fought it, and it was so much easier. That being said, boss battles. This has some amazing boss battles in it. You know, Ys is known for its amazing boss battles, and it really, really does not disappoint. Graphics. If you've played any of the TurboGrafx Ys games, you know what to expect from it. I think it holds up incredibly well. I love games that look like this. There's just such a refreshing quality to the sprite work. You really get to see sort of the individuality of the teams that work on these games. For instance, you could tell the difference between an old school Zelda game and an Ys game just by looking at the graphics. Of course, you know, the characters, blah, 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 blah. But just looking at how they make the sprites. Final Fantasy has a very specific sprite work. And, you know, I always call it the Final Fantasy sad eyes, because all the old school sprites, when they would stand on the world map and look towards the, you know, the screen, they'd always have very sad looking eyes. That's just a characteristic of Final Fantasy. So I was super impressed with the graphics of this game. Especially there's a point where you go over a waterfall and the camera goes from being overhead and it sort of flips, and then you watch Adol go over that waterfall. There's a lot of really cool effects that you just don't really think about until you're watching it. You're like, oh man, back in the day that would have blown my mind to see that. You know, now who cares, blah blah blah. But if you play these games and look at them as you know, you would have back in 1993, I would have been 11 years old in 93, and this game would have just blown my brains out. And of course, let's go ahead and end this before my voice completely goes again. Let's talk about the music. There are some tracks on this game that rival other Ys music in other games. But on the whole, I find that I like the Books 1 and 2 soundtrack and Oath and Felghana soundtrack and a lot of the other soundtracks better than Ys 4. Some tracks do use the Red Book audio. However, some kind of go through the system's internal processor. So sometimes you're listening to music that sounds kind of chiptune-ish, and then sometimes you're listening to music that sounds really fucking good. So it's kind of weird, but at the same time, the tracks that are amazing in this game are absolutely amazing. The tracks that are just okay, there's not a bad track on it. There's no bad music in an Ys game. But it's just, you're kind of listening to it and you're kind of like, okay, I get where it's going. It does reuse some of the old music from Ys Book 1 and 2. That kind of remixes them a little bit. Unfortunately, no first steps towards battle, but what are you going to do there? But yeah, I can't recommend this enough, guys. If you have the ability to, go out, download the ISO. There's very specific instructions on which ISO you want to get. You want to get the version that is with the serial number ending in R1F. Yeah, R1F, RIF. That's how I remembered it, RIF. And then you want to follow the instructions to apply the translation patch and then the dialogue patch. And then just burn the ISO and throw it in your PC engine or your Turbo CD, your Turbo Duo, and you're off. Really, I can't recommend it enough. If you only have a PC Engine emulator, one second, then I would say, you know, I have the Magic Engine, and it plays ISOs. You have to burn the disc, and then when you put it in, it thinks it's a real disc. So, yeah, you definitely want to look into that. But, what can I say, guys? Ys 4. I'm so glad I finally got to play this. Unfortunately, that means the only Ys game that I have not played yet, other than Celceta, I guess I should say, not version of the game, but just game in general, is Ys 5. And as far as I know, there's no translation of that, so I'm going to have to either decide to play it in Japanese or just keep waiting. So, ooh, I feel like I'm sounding like a 12-year-old boy. So I guess that means I need to go on the internet and start flaming people, but I don't know. Anyway, up next is going to be this game right here, Koda Princess. Just picked it up today. And I see back here, it's got a T for partial nudity. And I would say that Solange's outfit, she's almost completely nude. It's ridiculous. There's something you're going to notice in the first 2 seconds of playing this game as Solange. You're going to notice an awful lot of jiggling. And it's a good thing that her sprite is very small in that game. But yeah, so I've really been enjoying Koda Princess. I need to finish editing episode 3 of Another Gaming Podcast. You can listen to that, although it's a little bit annoying because I'm constantly clearing my throat and coughing, because that is when all this shit hit. When Steve and I were doing the podcast, I started off very normal, and then by the end of it, I sound like a train wreck. But I'm editing all that together and getting it together. Hopefully, we can get some of you guys on there. 3 episodes in, and it's just been me and Steven kind of puttering around. We really need to step up our game and get some of you guys on there. We're lazy, and we literally decide to do these things like the day before. It's like, hey, tomorrow night, you free? Yeah. Okay. So we really need to set a time so we can get some of you guys on there. I know a lot of you guys out there want to be on. We even talk about how some of you guys want to be on, so we're going to work on that. But anyway, guys, yes, East 4. Definitely check this out. Look forward to... go over to RPG Swagman and check out his unboxing for Celceta. I'll put a link down below because I think that's going to be the way a lot of you guys play this game. But if you can, definitely go back and play the old PC Engine game. Okay, that is it. I'm getting off here and going to go make some tea so I can deal with this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.